I've already beefed with the Pod Johns for a long time, but it's happening again. It's happening again, so I must show you again. So it all began yesterday when I was scrolling through my feed after the stream. Sometimes I hate myself some more, and I scroll through the feed, and I came across this post. A post that will live in infamy. Elon Musk is the Tesla of our generation, a genius who should run for office. I have a Tesla, and I love how it feels. Now, clearly, we call this a cringe post. This is an intentional cringe post. John Lovett, if you don't know who this is, has a podcast called, Pod Save America on a podcasting platform called Crooked Media. And see, the thing is, I'm an old fan of their podcast. In fact, I used to listen to it when it was called Keeping It 1600. Prior to the presidential election of 2016, during the general election phase, I believe, they started a podcast called Keeping It 1600. And they got a lot of popularity. And then they decided to yeet whoever they were working with and start their own thing. And they called it Crooked Media. And they were one of those people that prior to the election were like, don't be scared. I want to see if I can even find it. Keeping It 1600. Let's see if we can find it.
Mike from PA.
Keep It at 1600 was an American political podcast produced by The Ringer and hosted by former Barack Obama staffers Jon Favreau, Tommy Vitor, John Lovett, and Dan Pfeiffer. The show ended December 2016, became the podcast Pod Save America through the host's new media company, Crooked Media. The show had a variety of running jokes, including the prevention of politically induced bedwetting, a segment called Says Who, and the advocacy of the belief that John Lovett is a straight shooter widely respected on both sides. Bedwetting, chat, was the concept of belief that Hillary Clinton might lose the election. It was bedwetting to think that Hillary Clinton, our queen, could ever lose. Let me see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find it. Wait. Where's the ones from before the election? Wait a minute. Where's their posts from before the election? Really? They deleted them all? Of course they did. Of course they did. Of course they did. I was going to play you some of their don't worry, don't you worry about that. We're good. We're fine. Don't bedwet. Progressives in Pennsylvania are telling us that Hillary Clinton is not very popular here. Don't you dare bedwet. All right. So the drama then, and while we're enjoying ourselves, chat, while we're thinking of that point where they were very much in the Clinton camp, I believe John Lovett was he the Hillary Clinton person who came over to Obama after the 2008 primary, or was he always the Obama guy? There was one of them that was originally a Hillary guy. I think it was John. I think it was him, right? He was an Obama. He was the Hillary Clinton thing. Yeah, there you go. Amazing, dude. He worked for President Barack Obama as well as for Hillary Clinton, when she was United States Senator and 2008 presidential candidate. Speaking of speeches, chat, Hillary Clinton recently posted a masterclass, I guess, on how to lose humiliatingly, where she read parts of her victory speech she hoped to deliver 5 years ago. And because I hate you all, I'm going to make you watch this. Let's enjoy it.
Yet she still found a way to offer me the boundless love and support she never received herself. She taught me the words of our Methodist faith: do all the good you can for all the people you can, in all the ways you can, as long as ever you can. I think about my mother every day. Sometimes I think about her on that train. I wish I could walk down the aisle.
Chat, I can't believe America is Already Great didn't win. I can't believe America is Already Great did not win.
I wish I could walk down the aisle and find the little wooden seats where she sat, holding tight to her even younger sister, alone, terrified. She doesn't yet know how much she will suffer. She doesn't yet know she will find the strength to escape that suffering. That is still a long way off. The whole future is still unknown as she stares out at the vast country moving past her. I dream of going up to her and sitting down next to her, taking her in my arms and saying, "Look at me, listen to me. You will survive. You will have a good family of your own and 3 children. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the president of the..."
Can you, and I want to tell you something, chat. I'm glad she lost. I'm glad she lost. At this point, I'm glad. I'm glad. Why? Because this is the most disgustingly narcissistic shit I could imagine. For a leader of a party to go up and be like, I wish I could tell my mom when she was suffering, don't worry, your daughter will be president, is the most disgustingly narcissistic idea of a victory speech I've ever heard. I mean, can you imagine doing this to your parents? Oh, you're suffering. Don't worry, I succeed? What? I just find this horrific. The responses to this video are embarrassing. The right-wing Dems needed to feel this loss for them to learn from their mistakes. Oh, wait, they never learn anything. Oh, they will never learn. It's never their fault.
The United States. I am as sure of this as anything I have ever known. America is the greatest country in the world. And from tonight,
because I won, America is the greatest country in the world. That may be the most narcissistic statement that has ever existed. And she felt the need to read it 5 years later after losing. This is the same energy as a billionaire. 0 sense of responsibility, just pure narcissism. Like, today was the first time I told my doctor I have symptoms of depression. It feels like a weight off my chest. Oh, I'm glad you're on the road to recovery there. Listen, I'm not depressed. I regret to inform you all, I am not depressed. These people are not going to depress me. These fucking losers were never going to depress me. It would be a personal defeat if I said that Joe Biden depressed me. If Nancy Pelosi was the cause of my depression. Fuck you. I refuse to let anyone make me depressed. And so I'm just not depressed. No, I just have too many brain chemicals, chat. Although I've been told that in men, being angry is often a way that depressive feelings are transformed. Huh. Maybe that's let's not think about that. Her loss cemented Trump as the head of the growing fascist beast. With her winning, we'd face a competent figurehead of the neo-fascist movement. She would have lost. First of all, the Dems don't take the Senate. So she passes nothing. She gets no Supreme Court judges appointed. And then gets absolutely, they will just annihilate her in the 2018 midterms. The Democrats will get to their lowest point ever. The Democrats lost Senate seats in 2018 with Trump in office. They lost 3 Senate seats with Trump in office. Imagine the amount of Senate seats they would have lost with Hillary in office. 6? And then she goes into 2020 with COVID-19. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how the Republicans would have destroyed Hillary Clinton for COVID-19? I mean, would there even, they would have, whoever ran against Hillary would have won 40 states. And then they would come in and they would appoint 3 Supreme Court judges. This year would have been the Republicans appoint Supreme Court judges the year. We would be we would be no better off, honestly. Honestly, I think we might even be worse off if she had won. I'm not normally someone who says stuff like this, but looking at the way politics went and the events that took place, Hillary Clinton plus COVID-19, you think that conspiracy theories are bad now. The conspiracy theories that would have come out of the right, fucking Mitt Romney would have been the Q figurehead. The Democratic Party would probably be so flattened that it wouldn't exist. She would have been impeached or removed long before 2020. She probably would be being impeached for COVID. I found a 2016 prediction from September 2016. Okay, hold on.
I mean, I could see it happen. This is what I said at the beginning. I could see this happen that Democrats, Democratic leaners, maybe some independents, Democratic-leaning independents, come back to Hillary that she's maybe lost over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think things
I agree with you that
millennials.
I don't think. I mean,
They're
that's
not
what
voting.
I think things go back to
Millennials?
I think things return.
What do you think, guys?
Millennials?
Did it work?
I think did the gambit work of being on stage with Donald Trump? I think things will return to the status quo ante of Hillary leading between 5 and 6 points, 4 to 7.
6?
Points.
I'll do 3 and 4.
No way.
I'll say 3
Yeah, I'll
and 4.
say 4 to 5. One of
What
our
do you say,
viewers,
Tim? You say no movement? No
I'm
movement?
sorry, Favreau.
Oh,
whatever.
one of our viewers asked, how do we go an entire debate without talking about healthcare? Good question. Because
Obamacare.
How do we go an entire debate without talking about healthcare? And somehow the Democrats lost. Wow, what a surprise.
corrupt political system. This whole thing's fucked up and broken.
Best law that's ever been passed.
Well, I will tell you why. It's because the Republicans nominated a candidate who had to spend half the debate defending his racist past, the fact that he doesn't pay taxes, and the fact that really on most domestic issues he's like kind of liberal, so he doesn't even think to bring up Obamacare. Like Obamacare didn't even come up. Had Jeb been out there, boom, Obamacare. First
Man, I think Hillary would have beaten Jeb. Because Jeb would not have brought out anybody, like, he wouldn't have made the right excited. And he was too lame. Like, people didn't want to support Jeb. Jeb would have gone the way of Bob Dole. Like, Jeb would have lost. Oh, wait, no, what am I saying? Jeb would have destroyed her. Oh, God. They did Jeb wrong. That's right. Jeb would have won 50 states. Good point. Oh, you guys have convinced me. If Lovett was in Hillary 08, do you think he was part of the birther stuff? 100%. That's a question I'd like to ask him.
Question. He would have been hitting her on Obamacare.
Well, could have been.
I need to talk to John. I want to talk to him so bad. So we're gonna get into this, chat. We're gonna get into this. Let's keep watching this.
Then we could have had the substantive debate that America deserved.
Can you answer this for us?
Great question.
Who did the exclamation point? Like, what were the
The
meetings like?
exclamation point, there were no meetings. The exclamation had been there since 1998. We should have taken down. We should have had meetings to take down the exclamation point. In retrospect.
So instead of Jet,
it was the
Chad.
same. It was literally the same logo. It never changed.
didn't know that.
It was
Here's something that might.
John
go
Lovett
ahead.
is watching cat videos.
No. I'm watching a.
Oh wait, this is a Jeb Bush guy? This is a Jeb Bush guy? I can't believe it. Of course. This is a preview of the next 4 years. This is a preview of the next 4 years, which was, I mean, guys, gals, non-binary pals, friends, look at this group. Look at this group. There's not one real American on that stage right now. There's not one normal human being on that stage. Not a one. These are the They Live aliens. If you put on the glasses from They Live, every single one of these people would be one of those fucking aliens. There is not one living, breathing human being on this panel.
I did not
Are we
open
boring
this.
you, John?
It's in my feed. I didn't watch it.
Don't ask
all right?
a question you won't know the
Okay,
answer.
wrong.
Okay, moving on.
There is
Sorry.
a great
Continue.
GIF going around involving Shaq, Hillary Clinton, and a cat. And you know what? Because Jess brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and retweet it. I'm going to retweet it.
I am not wrong. Then.
That's a split.
I am
not wrong.
Let's
retweeting
bring some order to
this.
this. We have an audience here. What you're talking about is
Like every single one of these things behind the posters would be Obey. They got the Obey face right here. Oh god, this is the quintessential lib shit. They have a Veep poster. Where is the West Wing shit? Where's the West Wing shit? I'm not a West Wing fan, so I can't spot it. There's a Hillary oh god, there's a Hillary 2008 poster. This is them after the 2016 election. No, I want the one right before.
Hillary.
Okay, I want the one right before the election where they're like, Hillary's gonna win, don't be a bedwetter. Siscat, thank you for the tier 1. All right, let's keep going.
Going forward, together, we will make America even greater than it has ever been for each and every one of us. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless America.
Oh god, chat. Okay. So this is who John Lovett is. So John Lovett basically he graduated Williams College in 2004 with a degree in mathematics. After graduation, he spent a year working as a paralegal and doing stand-up comedy on the side. He volunteered for the John Kerry presidential campaign. He was asked to write a statement for the candidate, and his work led to the offer of writing internship. Then he briefly worked in John Corzine's office. John Corzine lost to Chris Christie. Then he went to assist Sarah Horowitz as a speechwriter for then Senator Hillary Clinton, and he continued to write speeches for her throughout her 2008 presidential campaign. When Clinton lost the 2008 Democratic primary contest, Lovett won an anonymous contest to write speeches for President Barack Obama in the White House. Lovett wrote speeches in the Obama administration for 3 years, working closely with Jon Favreau and David Axelrod. I need to know more. Lovett was born in Woodbury, Long Island, to a Reformed Jewish family of Ukrainian ancestry that operated a box factory started by his grandfather, a.k.a. Capitalist. Capitalist. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Ask Hassan. He went on Love It or Leave It. No, they also brought him on Fear and Malding. They also brought him on Fear and Malding. He was on Fear and Malding. He seemed pretty cool. No, he's not. He's absolutely not. But it's okay. It's okay. I cannot pretend to like the people that other people pretend to like in order for more clout. I don't have to pretend to like these people. What am I going to do? Why would I pretend to like this guy? Is he ever going to do anything for me? Is he ever going to do anything for the left in America? Let's be real. Let's be real. So let's see. So he posted this tweet. Elon Musk is the Tesla of our generation, a genius, blah, 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 blah. And I simply retweeted it and said, if you're wondering why Democrats are absolutely worthless, this is Obama's presidential speechwriter. Now, this is just a personal attack. This is me quoting him. This is just a personal attack. I'm not even saying that he believes this tweet. I'm just quote tweeting one of his tweets. I didn't say because they want Elon Musk to be a candidate. I literally just retweeted his shit joke and made fun of it and made fun of him. And here's the thing. Thousands of people. Now, he says it's a cringe joke that he posts. I want to be very clear here that it's a cringe joke. According to him, he was doing a fundraiser for no off years where he agreed to post cringe posts, okay? He was going to post cringe posts. According to this. He had to post cringe tweets. His first cringe tweet was Joe Manchin's houseboat looks cool. I'd love to live on it with him, or at least get to visit. The deficit is very big. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, chat. This is pretty much every Democrat who works in D.C. They would unironically say this. So it's hard to understand how this is a fucking cringe tweet when it's the actual Democrat. This is the Democrat position of almost every Democrat in D.C. I love Joe Manchin. I want to go on his houseboat. Then he posts this thing about Elon Musk, and I have to say that how is this any different than the Obama administration? Could someone explain to me how this is different than the Obama administration? Because Obama loved Elon Musk. They loved SpaceX. They loved Tesla. And they shoveled billions of dollars towards him when they were in power. So is the cringe this tweet, or is the cringe his policies? And of course, yesterday, chat, you saw this. I said, here's Nancy Pelosi putting another $1 million into Tesla stock options right before the new year. We talked about this yesterday. 25 call options with a strike price of $500. That's $1 million. So is this cringe? Is this cringe? The Pod Johns boosted Pete Buttigieg as their main guy. I stopped listening to them much earlier than that. Not love it? Here it is. Ex-Obama speechwriter Jon Favreau wants to put anxious Hillary bedwetters at ease. With ex-Obama staffers John Lovett, Dan Pfeiffer, and Tommy Vitor, Favreau hosts the popular Keep It at 1600 podcast and says liberals shouldn't worry. The race to us has been remarkably stable when you look at the fundamentals, which most of the horse race coverage doesn't do. Hillary can't lose this thing, can she? Not a chance, insists Jon Favreau.
How often do people mistake you for the other Jon Favreau?
All the time. My Twitter feed is filled with congratulations for the Jungle Book and Still for Chef. So that happens quite a bit. So the best way to write a speech very quickly is to just start typing. If you have a deadline, it's a really tight deadline, don't focus on that. Don't worry about how it might look. Just get the words down on a page and you can always edit them later. Proud. looking back over 8 years, I don't think he fixed every single problem he set out to fix, but he made real progress, and a lot of people's lives were changed for the better. And that's all that you can hope for in a public servant. I originally wanted to write sort of political fiction, and then this election season unfolded, and it was stranger than any fiction I could imagine. So I decided I would focus my writing and thinking on real life politics for now. Yeah, I mean, in a
Can a great concession speech redeem Trump? The delusion. The absolute delusion. So when I point these guys out and say they're bad, don't listen to them. They are leading us down the primrose. His opinion after 8 years of Obama was proud. The only opinion that you should have had after 8 years of Obama was disgust and shame. The only thing that the Democratic Party after Obama left office was utterly crushed at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level. Obama led the Democratic Party to utter oblivion. And this is an objective fact. And he started his term with the Democratic Party in complete control of the federal government. They were winning at the local level and the state level. They were at a pretty nice level there as well. The Democratic Party had the reins of the country after a disastrous economic recession and unpopular war under George W. Bush. He came into power with a complete mandate, and he accomplished almost nothing. And by the time he left, the Democratic Party was laid low. He was an objective failure by every single measure. Now, you could come up with a million excuses for that, but the facts are the facts. And a loser is a loser. If you don't like it, too bad. So sad. And history should not look back on your intentions or look back on your personal identity as if that matters. What matters is, was the Democratic Party and was the country set up so that working people could succeed? Were they better off? And they objectively were not. You can crow about the ACA expanding Medicaid in blue states and giving a couple 100,000 people subsidies on expensive private health insurance plans. That's nothing. Could they have passed the public option with 50 votes in reconciliation? Yes. They ended up passing the ACA with 59 votes in reconciliation anyway. And according to them, they had 55 votes for a public option. Who sunk the public option? Barack Hussein Obama and David Axelrod. That's the truth. All right? He was a failure. He was a loser. And that's why Donald Trump is president. That is why he won.
Yeah, I mean, in a real world, in some universe where Trump was a different person, in a concession speech, he would congratulate Hillary. He would say, this is a race that was hard fought. I was glad to be part of it. And now is the time to sort of bind up the divisions we've had over the last year and, throw our support and hope that this new president can, get us through the challenges that we face. And I'll be rooting for her, and I'll be critical of her when I need to be. But, I think we should all support her now. That would be the nice thing to do.
And do you think he'll do it?
No, I don't.
Friendly reminder that it took Hillary Clinton a whole day to say her concession speech. In many ways, Favreau and his podcast pals have become Nate Silvers of this wild campaign, calmly and hilariously picking apart polls, media spin, and Trump's missteps, giving what they call liberal bedwetters a chance to calm down. I guess that was the wrong message, huh, chat? It was probably the wrong message. We already watched Hillary cry. What's your opinion on the Seattle recall vote of Savant? Waiting for all the votes to come in. Typically, she makes up like a big percent in late ballots. So I expect her to win the recall. The race to us has been remarkably stable when you look at the fundamentals, which most of the horse race coverage doesn't do. People's opinions of Trump have been pretty set. Hillary's favorable ratings have moved more than anyone else. They've gone down, they've gone up, and I think the debates did more for her favorability ratings than anything else in the campaign because she came off as presidential. In October 27th, live taping of the show at LA's Silent Movie Theater sold out in 35 minutes at $30 a seat. That's the big question. Figure out what's next, Favreau says. What I'd like to keep doing for as long as people want to listen, a TV version could be possible, but probably not on Fox News. I don't know what's going to happen at Fox, he said. With Roger Ailes gone, you've got Megyn Kelly and Brett Baer and Chris Wallace trying to be legitimate news people. They're going to be sick of Trump pretty fast. And in Favreau's view, when Trump loses in November 8, will he concede to Clinton? That's a good question. I don't think he gives a concession speech that night. He probably waits until the next day, depending on the margin. I think there are a couple people around him that will tell him various conspiracies. Whoops. And so, anyway, we've pointed this out. Then John Lovett posted a tweet to me. He says, day 2, people are still frustrated that I want Elon to run for office while I fuck a Tesla. And he says, would be great if the people who are so online that they can't tell this isn't real would post our fundraising link to register voters in PA, Texas, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida. Would be easier if I was actually a dumb caricature Mike from PA, but because I'm not, retweet the link. And I want to show you a dumb caricature, chat. Because Jon Favreau, the guy I just made fun of, I want you to see something. Now, chat, why would me? I don't make death threats. I don't insult people. I really don't. I'm rather nice on Twitter. I make snide comments. But why would you block me? Why would you block little old Mike from PA? The only people who block me are people who know that I cannot be debated with. Remember how the Pod Save America guys convinced Beto to ditch another Senate run to make his humiliating run for president, advised Warren to take a DNA test, and advanced Kirsten Gillibrand as the top-tier candidate? These were the top minds of the Obama administration. And they spent most of their time shitting on Bernie Sanders and boosting Harris. And then they tried to boost Warren. Then they tried to they boosted Booker. They boosted all these people. And I just laughed at them. Is this a blockable tweet? And now they want me to retweet their fundraiser for establishment Democratic candidates because they made a post that represents the Democratic Party. Hey, I post some base sarcasm. Looks more like cringe to me. Blocked. Exactly. Hackstock, thanks for the 27 months, buddy. And here's the thing. I'm not making it up. Pod Save America did tell Warren to get a blood test. In this Pod Save America clip from March 2008, John Lovett suggests to Elizabeth Warren that she take a DNA test. He uses Obama's birth certificate as the example for why, discounting the fact that the guy who got them to release it was, subsequently elected president.
The president has been calling you Pocahontas for a while, okay? And I want to stipulate that it's racist, that it's bullshit, that it's a distraction, and that your explanation is totally reasonable. And if we lived in a reasonable world in a reasonable time, we'd all move on and talk about the bank bill. But Tommy, John, myself, Dan, we all went through the experience of watching Obama's birth certificate be made an issue for years.
Yeah.
And finally, before the 2012 election, they sent somebody over to Hawaii with a suitcase and they got the document, they flew it back and they went into the briefing room and they said, here it is. And, you know, we made fun of Trump for it. We said, this is the long form birth certificate. This has been bullshit the whole time. We're done talking about this. We're moving on. Now, I recognize that it's unfair that you have to deal with this Pocahontas allegation, but you seem to get asked about it over and over again. And I would like to live in a world where a year from now, you're not talking about it at all. So why not, even though it's bullshit, get some sort of a test, get some sort of a way to dispense with it once and for all, even if it is conceding in this one instance to Trump's bullying, because then it allows you to focus on the issues so that you don't have to deal with it anymore.
So what was considered to be the absolute worst thing that Elizabeth Warren did the entire campaign, which was engaged in some sort of blood quanta, I got a DNA test, I'm 1/28th Native American, all the stuff about basically she's a white person who pretended to be of Native heritage for attention. She published a book called Pow Wow Chow, where she plagiarized recipes from the New York Times and pretended they were handed down through her tribe. They were the people who advised her to get the blood test. Now, I want you to understand that when I see, they're cringe. They're actually causing damage to Democratic candidates. Far worse than I ever could. As much as I wish I could hurt Democratic candidates, as much as I intentionally try to hurt Democratic candidates, I can't touch the damage they've done through their advice. They were the people that told Beto to run for president instead of run for Senate again. They advised him to run for president again. They destroyed his political career because when he was on the campaign trail trying to get attention for his embarrassing presidential run, he said that he wanted to confiscate everybody's guns. A position that has probably got about 20% approval in the United States of America. People are not in support of confiscation. There just aren't. It's a political non-starter. So he's destroyed as a candidate in Texas forever now. So this is why I consider them to be useless cringe. Because when I made fun of them, I was factual. You want me to show you the Beto stuff? Just so you understand, I'm not making any of this up. Pod Save America, big bet on Beto, and got it all wrong. They're betting on Beto. In the aftermath of the President Donald Trump's election, perhaps no pundit benefited as much from the hashtag resistance as the men behind Pod Save America. So in other words, they were the wrongest of the wrong pundits. Do you see why white men in America fail upward continuously? They were the wrongest of the wrong about the 2016 election, and then they benefited the most. Former Obama staffers Jon Favreau, John Lovett, Tommy Vitor, and Dan Pfeiffer have not only built one of the most successful political podcasts in history, but they also leveraged that success into the creation of their nascent media empire, Crooked Media. Pod Save America tells its fans left-leaning political analysis coded with humor and wonky authenticity. After all, these men were on the inside of the Obama White House, and they know how things work in Washington. In other words, they know how things fail because they were failures. But if the legitimacy of their punditry is based on knowing how things work, then it's worth discussing when they get things wrong, which is every time. Although Pod Save America was just as confident as many pundits that Hillary Clinton would win the presidency, its earliest vigorous support of the Democratic presidential challenger Beto O'Rourke marks its most glaring miscalculation to date. We forgot the blood test from Elizabeth Warren. Whereas most of the mainstream media thought Clinton would be president, on O'Rourke, the PSA hosts were on a limb alone. Following O'Rourke's narrow Senate loss, the hosts of Pod Save America got behind him as the heir to Obama-era politics and their presidential candidate of choice. O'Rourke, like Favreau and company, is a pragmatist who dreams of bridging the partisan divide with common sense solutions. How many times do you have to be humiliated with that stupid idea? That was Hillary Clinton. That was Barack Obama's failure presidency. That was the destruction of the Democratic Party. And they they do it again and again and again. They will never learn. Beto and PSA's politics focus on moderate proposals on Democratic contentious issues. For example, 2008, Favreau infamously joined the anti-Medicare for all organization, United States of Care. And O'Rourke has hedged on single payer as the campaign has gone on. Not only has this not been the cycle for a candidate like O'Rourke, but what support there was even for him has been hoovered up by South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. So far, Mayor Pete has played Beto far better than Beto, running as an earnest heartland moderate. From the fall of 2018 through the middle of 2019, Pod Save America's four hosts were serving as de facto O'Rourke surrogates and believe that the former El Paso congressman had a very good chance of winning the presidency. Beto is a generational political talent who built a grassroots movement. Every Democrat can learn a lot from how he ran his race with authenticity and without fear. I hope we haven't seen the last of him. O'Rourke appeared on Pod Save America's short-lived HBO effort last year. The interview with him, conducted by Vitor, was largely geared toward the Texas Senate race, but at the end of the interview, there was an early hint that PSA was on O'Rourke's presidential aspirations. Vitor asks, "How did you run against a liar? I'm asking for a friend who may be running in 2020. Though the answer is initially about Cruz, Beto uses the opportunity to pitch his tactics against Trump. Vitor follows up by pushing the presidential race. A few years ago, you didn't have this national profile, but today 800,000 people gave your campaign money. A whole lot of people want you to run for president. What does that feel like? And what does it say about the state of the Democratic Party and what we're hungering for from our politics in this country?" They are the worst political commentators, analysts in America. And they're libs with terrible politics, terrible right-wing politics that have been the death of the Democratic Party. That's the truth about Pod Save America. That's the truth about these people. They will never learn because that would require systemic change. Rather lose to fascists than help socialists win? Absolutely. And they spent that primary digging daggers in Bernie Sanders' back. They saw an overwhelming, unanimous support of Bernie Sanders with young people, and instead of turning to their older crowd and say, hey, it looks to be like the real grassroots energy in this party is for Bernie Sanders, and we are progressives, and he's to the left of us, but we recognize grassroots energy when we see it. They spent the entire time trying to talk him down, to shit on him, to spit on him, and boost people like Pete Buttigieg, boost people like Beto O'Rourke. They were behind Elizabeth Warren's blood test. They were, quite frankly, damaging, and they continue to be damaging to the Democratic Party. These type of people have to be overturned if American politics is going to change. Establishment Dems really, really don't want to go towards Sanders' left. That's exactly right. The next month after O'Rourke lost, more explicit support came in the form of PSA co-host Dan Pfeiffer's essay, The Case for Beto O'Rourke. Look, this isn't something made up. They wrote this shit. Crooked Media, still up. I thought they would have this. I would delete that. If I wrote something that bad, I would delete it. Chad, I regret to inform you. If I wrote anything that dumb, I would delete it. In the piece, Pfeiffer also says the O'Rourke campaign in Texas was essentially an Iowa caucus campaign on a grander scale. He visited every one of Texas's 254 counties. Beto proves he has what it takes to win Iowa. Recent polling has O'Rourke around 10th in Iowa despite a significant investment of time and energy there. There have been claims that Bernie Sanders, Warren, and Buttigieg are drawing the biggest crowds. O'Rourke is not. Pfeiffer's prediction turned out to be doubly incorrect. O'Rourke's campaign gained a reputation for disorganization as it ramped up in Iowa. He was criticized for announcing his presidential bid before hiring a campaign manager and insisted on driving himself to campaign events. Politico called him far behind rival candidates in staffing and organization. But they also became business partners with him. In March, Running with Beto, a feature-length documentary about O'Rourke's Texas Senate run, debuted at SXSW. Crooked Media was the producer of the project. So they're totally conflicted, financially conflicted. Crooked Media's role in the documentary raised the eyebrows of some fellow journalists and pundits. In other words, who may not know what this refers to? In other words, the Pod Save America hosts and their company have a financial stake in generating attention and positive campaign movement to Beto O'Rourke for the sake of how well this movie does. Jesus Christ. From March through June, the Pod Save America hosts often played defense for O'Rourke, serving as surrogates for the candidate in the media and on Twitter. Pfeiffer doubled down on his essay from November. Beto is tailor-made Iowa candidate. He ran Texas like a giant Iowa campaign, visiting every county, retail politics. On an episode of Love It or Leave It, Lovett got defensive on the idea that the podcasters were serving as O'Rourke surrogates. After sarcastically referring to Beto as supposedly our best friend, Lovett said the national media has sort of lost its mind a little bit. Like, first of all, there's like roadblock coverage. He's getting a lot more coverage than other people. But there's a lot of reporters who are just like openly hostile for reasons that are not. Some of the stuff on Twitter has been, holy shit. In late April, Favreau got on to a back and forth with the Sunrise Movement on O'Rourke's behalf over the details of his support of the Green New Deal. The thing that really disgusts me about all this, I'm sorry for going into so much detail, is that the left doesn't hold these people accountable. They have clout, so people will fucking go on their shows and shit. Even though they are the enemy of the left. They've gone out of their way to attack grassroots left-wing organizations, had a conflicted documentary for a candidate who sucks. Vitor also asked Beto to justify back away from Medicare for All, which several months earlier he told the Young Turks O'Rourke was not doing. The Pod Save America hosts are guilty of a classic mistake. Soldiers are always preparing to fight the last war. Like, you can't let these guys are our enemies. I'm sorry to say this. But if you're on the left, these guys are against you. They don't want you to win. They're going to do everything they can to put a dagger in your back. They're shit. And they've got goddamn terrible political instincts. And when you point that out, and I did it gently before, the fact that I'm an actual leftist, this is the response you get. For just, again, what was that tweet? What was the thing that made what was the drama? What was the block for? I put a laughing emoji. I put a laughing emoji. Truth. 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 What statement in here can you have a problem with? What statement in here could you possibly have a problem with? I ask all of you. So the idea that I'm going to retweet this guy's fundraiser? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Mike, you're pointing out how wrong we are. That's rude. Yeah. I gotta pretend we're all on the same team.